It can be painful to work on something and have very low viewership, but we've seen time and time again that even videos with some of the least amount of views have had the biggest impact on our lives and our careers because of who's watched them and who's reached out.
I came across this video by Colin and Samir titled 10 Harsh Truths They Wish They Knew When They Started. It's an amazing video. In case you don't know Colin and Samir, these guys are amazing. They are OG YouTube content creators and they work with other content creators, help them build their brand. Not just content creators, including creatives and personal brands. So anything they say concerning content creation and building a presence online should be taken really seriously. We are going to be looking at some of the things they said in that video and I will be giving my own opinion. So if you're trying to build a personal brand online or you intend to become a YouTube content creator, you'll find this video extremely useful to you. So let's dive in.
All right, 10 painful lessons we learned about YouTube. But let me tell you where this idea came from. So a few weeks ago, Colin and I get invited to the Vanity Fair Young Hollywood party.
And I thought to myself, how young do you have to be invited to the Young Hollywood party? Because we're pushing 40. Samir doesn't like the thought of that, but it's true.
About this age thing, it's a really big issue for so many people. There's a misconception about age and content creation or building personal brand. Now, not a lot of people have this misconception, but I believe quite a few do have it. The assumption that being online and showing who you are, what you do online is something that is strictly for the young ones. And if you believe so, I will not judge you. I cannot blame you. Go to TikTok, Instagram, specifically those two accounts. You have a lot of young people there. So if you're pushing 30, pushing 40, or anything above, you might find it strange to set up your camera and your lighting to record yourself speaking or doing whatever it is you do. Now, it's a misconception. Why? Because value will always attract audience, and the truth is, the older you get, it is expected that you should have a higher level of value within the context of you've had a long time to work at your job, you've had probably several relationships, you know a lot more people, you have experienced a lot more, you've traveled more, so you will always attract an audience irrespective of your age. Think of it this way: what do I have to offer that is important, rather than how old am I?
There were some big time actors there too.
I didn't recognize a single one.
They were there.
So when we were in the Uber on the way back at a responsible 10 p.m., we decided to write down 10 lessons that we wish we knew when we were in our 20s.
Starting with, nobody cares about your story. This building behind me is where Samir and I spent the majority of our 20s. Samir's dad is in the fashion business, and this is one of his warehouses, and he moved a bunch of boxes aside and agreed to let us use it as our first office. We're building the lacrosse network, and Samir comes up to me and he suggests that we tell a story about a major trade that happened in pro lacrosse. And I looked at him and I said, people aren't really talking about this. Sure, there's some tweets about it and there's some articles written, but no one's talking about this trade, so we shouldn't be talking about it. No one cares. And he said to me, it's our job as storytellers to make people care. And that flipped a switch in me, and I hit the road and I spent a month living with Paul Rabel, documenting his life. And it went from a story about a trade to a deeply personal story about a guy who would go to incredible lengths to win.
So everything he said here is very important, and I'll just pick out one or two things. First thing he said that I feel is extremely powerful is, he said, no story by itself is interesting. It all depends on the person telling the story, and that's just the truth. Now, some of the biggest personal brands that you know today, Tony Robbins, Gary Vee, even extremely controversial ones like the Tate brothers, some of these personal brands are built on stories. These stories are told in such an interesting and wild way that it just captivates the audience, and that is the key to personal branding. How do you tell your story such that people would care enough to listen to it, relate with it, and react accordingly? That is the primary basis upon which personal brands are built. It is not just about the story, It is about how it is being told.
It's better to get out of your box. Whatever that comfortable place is that you're creating from, you got to break that. But is it Ernest Hemingway who says it?
Yeah.
To be an interesting writer, you have to go live an interesting life. I think the same goes for making anything creative.
There isn't much to say about that, but if there's only one thing I'll say, and I think this would appeal to a younger demographic. If you're looking to build a personal brand, but you feel you don't have stories to tell, then simply start living life. If you want to tell interesting stories, start doing interesting things. If you want to tell adventurous stories, then start living an adventurous life. It is your life. It is your story. Personal brand is simply a reflection of real life. It can also be an exaggeration of real life, but there must be the substance there, which is your lived experience.
The context matters as much, if not more, than the product itself. So there's this video of Virgil Abloh, and he's holding up this tin candle. And he explains that if this tin candle is sitting in a garage, it just looks like a piece of trash. You wouldn't even notice it. But if it's sitting in an all-white room, it becomes art. So his choice is he can either work on the candle or work on the room that it sits in. So
very, very important. And you should get the point here. The context of whatever message you're trying to pass is probably much more powerful than the message itself. Let me give you the example. So if I had a client, a man who is into self-empowerment and he teaches on self-empowerment principles, and this client wants to really build that personal brand, that big influence online, the first thing I guess you would assume one would do would be to create content around self-empowerment niched subjects. And the problem is you will be going into an industry that is cramped. And I believe most industries are cramped. But once you put that message within a context, it becomes more powerful. How do I mean? Let's give that man a name, Jules. So Jules is an immigrant. He came from a war-torn country, and he had to hide in a boat that brought him into America. So Jules is in America. He left his wife and children and suffered depression for a while before he began to pick himself up. Now, that is context. The same self-empowerment principle that just about anybody will talk about, say meditation, the power of meditation. If Jules speaks about that same topic without that context, it becomes bland. There is nothing really interesting about it. But if Jules pushes his message within the context of someone who lost everything he had in war-torn country, slaved or suffered on a boat before he got to America, they suffered depression and he was able to build himself up. Now, that is context. So more important than the message you want to pass is the context within which that message comes from.
The day you stop caring about the ratings is the day you get out of the business.
Who was it who said that?
I don't know. Some film producer said that on a podcast, but it made me think about a lesson that I've learned over the past 15 years is that a 10 out of 10 always hurts. It's painful. And the fact that it's painful means that we care about people seeing it. And to be honest, that is the business of being a creator.
Now, this will probably be the biggest lesson you should take out of this whole video, and that is the day you are able to conquer the need to go viral is the day you actually start creating content. Now, don't get me wrong, there are a host of advantages to going viral, and if you're really big on consuming content on Instagram, you'll notice everything is usually done with the intention of going viral. But the problem is how many videos actually go viral, how many videos are actually being produced on or published on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok. How many tweets go out daily? Countless, but they are countable in the millions, hundreds of thousands, maybe. I don't have the statistics, but guess how many actually do go viral. The problem is when you focus on this content that go viral, you begin to assume every other person's content goes viral. It does not work that way. Maybe 1 out of 100,000 content actually do go viral. So going viral is not the normal thing. Social media reflects real life. You grow gradually. There are some people who would come out and then just suddenly go wild, but check it. It is usually because they've worked so hard for a very long time to get to that point. Or some are so lucky they go viral immediately. But how many of those are able to consistently retain that virality? In fact, some get depressed. Why? Because, oh, my first content did 100,000 views, and my second content is not doing well. So this is a key thing with personal branding. Do not focus on the statistics for the intent of going viral. Yes, focus on the statistics to learn what your audience loves, to learn how best you can, create your content, how best you can present yourself, and take your eyes and your gaze off going viral.
2018, we had a meeting in this building behind us, pitching a documentary TV show to Scooter Braun, J.D. Roth, who's a legendary TV producer, and Justin Bieber. And after the pitch, which we did with our friend Tom, Justin touched his arm and went, chills. Chills, bro.
Which meant he liked it.
He really liked it. Justin walked out of the room. All of us are so excited that we're going to make this TV show. But then J.D. Roth looks at us, and I'll never forget it. He goes, boys, that was a great pitch, but you're not going to be the ones to make this show.
He was very blunt, and he said, you need them more than they need you. So if they like the idea, they're going to go with a trusted storyteller, director who's been doing this for a long time that they have a relationship with.
Now, this is very important. See, building your personal brand is a lifelong journey. I would not lie to you. It is a lifelong journey. In fact, building a business is a lifelong journey. You could at any given time stop, and it's not an issue. It's not a problem. A lot of people have stopped so many things. But this is the issue here. You will begin to get your flowers after a long time. A long time. Everything takes time. You build influence with time, and same thing applies to this particular area. Your personal brand requires you to sacrifice a whole lot.
The career of being a creator is pretty lonely. This behind me, this is the Lighthouse campus in Venice, California. It's a campus for creators and creative people. There's studios downstairs, there's workspace upstairs, and this is where we work now. But it's not always where we've worked. Most of the job is being alone, like just filming videos of yourself by yourself, then taking the SD card from the camera, putting it in your computer by yourself, watching videos back of yourself by yourself, editing the video by yourself, and then just uploading it mostly by yourself.
Building your personal brand is a very lonely thing, but it's interesting because you'll be spending a lot of time with yourself, irrespective of the team you have. In fact, I would suggest you work with an agency, or you work with usually one person who understands the technical aspect of things, and then can hire 1 or 2 people to manage your technical aspects, the technical aspects of building your personal brand. But apart from that, you will be alone most of the time. It is your story, it is your belief. You have the message, you are the leader, so you will be alone for the longest time. You might not have to edit your video, upload it, and do all those things. Those are the technical side, but actually sitting down and coming face to face with yourself, who you are, and then to present your stories to people, it's a very, very personal ordeal. So get ready for that.
Cool. Not all views are created equal. The first video I ever made had about 500 views on it, and one of those views was Samir. And he sent me an email. I had no idea who he was. He was a total stranger up until that point. And we ended up working together. I moved to LA, and my life drastically changed. It can be painful to work on something and have very low viewership, but we've seen time and time again that even videos with some of the least amount of views have had the biggest impact on our lives and our careers because of who's watched them and who's reached out.
This is one lesson you would eventually learn. You cannot truly measure the impact of a video you publish on YouTube or on Instagram, or anywhere, wherever you're building your personal brand. You can never tell the true impact of a video. I have this amazing client that I work with, and we came up with this idea, which is to do a 30 days of purpose, how to discover your purpose, understanding purpose, the whole 9 yards. Now we decided we'll be doing it live, so you would come on, I think 6 or 7 in the morning for 30 days and discuss key issues. And for the entire 30 days, we had a measurable amount of people tuning in, but it wasn't really much. But this was done, I think last year, August. Now, when we did that, our intention was, or we hoped that we'd be able to get a level of followership all over our platforms, what everybody wants, followership, more subscribers on YouTube. We didn't get that much, and so for that alone, it would seem as though we failed. But over the next couple of months, we noticed that a lot of people began to reach out directly to the brand and to my clients personally, and saying things like, oh, the 30 days of purpose live that we did really had an impact on them. So them showed interest in more of what we did. Many just sort of sent appreciation our way, and this was, I wouldn't say shocking, but more or less much more conviction for me that you never know the impact of your video.
The most important thing is that you're clear about what it is that you actually want, and honestly wanting it. Because if you do that, it's like pointing a ship in a direction. You will eventually get there, but it might not look exactly what you think it'll look like. So as I reflect on our career so far as YouTube creators, and even in the past 3 months of this year, so much of what has happened has been a result of finding clarity. And when we were at our most lost in this career, we wrote down 16 questions to ask ourselves, and we went through the exercise of asking ourselves these questions in an effort to find clarity of what we actually wanted to happen. So if you find yourself in this position, if you're searching for clarity right now, if that sounds like a fun writing exercise for you, we linked those questions in the description. Just click, you can put in your email, and we will send you a sheet with all of those questions. Clarity is hard to get to. You have to work to get to it, and patience can be painful.
So amazing point. I'll put the link to this video in the description so you could watch it and get that material it's talking about. Now, 2 things here: clarity and the journey. You cannot start the journey unless you know exactly where you're going to, and I would always advise that at least have an idea of what you want. I've beat down variety a lot, but there's nothing wrong if you say I want to have say 1 million followers in the next 2 years, 5 years. Dream big, but be very clear about that dream. Write it down. But this is the thing: many a times we often forget that the dreams we had and the things that we so much worked for, our grand desires, we often end up in them without knowing, and the satisfaction eludes us. Why? Because we forget the process, we forget the journey. So I know you're used to hearing live in the moment and enjoy the process. That advice is as dangerous as saying focus on where you're going to alone. So there are 2 ideas that must be put together. Have a goal, declare about it. It helps you in your journey, precisely where you're going to. But at the same time, enjoy the process. Enjoy what you're doing. Enjoy the moment. I enjoy this is not in my studio. This is at home. Still working towards building the studio and putting a lot of things in place, but I enjoy this moment. It will always remain in my mind. It took a lot to get here. It took a lot to get here, to be able to speak this way and to express myself, to be able to say that I don't have this, I don't have that, and I am not capable to, oh, I think I can do it, and then now I am doing it, and I'm looking to help as much people as I can to build their own personal brand, to be bold enough to make this video despite being new. It's all a part of the journey, and it is amazing, and I'm enjoying it, but I know exactly where I am going to. So that is all for now, at least for this video. The link to watch the entire video is out there. Samir and Colin, amazing guys. I hope I would meet them one day if possible, and most importantly, I hope this video does not get flagged for copyright infringement, because I practically uploaded a large chunk of their video. This my own video, but thanks to them, you should watch them, follow them. I watch them, I follow them. They are OGs, amazing guys. So yeah, follow me, subscribe to my channel, and help me grow, and let me help you grow. If you need help with building a personal brand as a professional consultant, as a creative, you can reach out to me. I run an agency and offer a bouquet of services, from copywriting, ghostwriting for books and the rest, video editing, website design, the whole entire package needs to run your personal brand. We offer the services, so reach out to me. See you in the next video.